You've been told technology is complicated, right? That AI is for tech bros, coders, and people with too much time on their hands? Well, today's guest is about to flip that story completely on its head. Marnie Wills is an international athlete turned entrepreneur and AI trainer who helps non techie professionals, yep, moms like us, use artificial intelligence to simplify life, reduce the mental load, and reclaim their time. Once terrified of tech, Marnie took one small experiment with AI that changed everything. She went from outsourcing everything to confidently using AI as her second brain, scaling her business and creating more space for what actually matters. This conversation will leave you rethinking what's possible for your career and your peace of mind. You don't have to be a tech expert, you just have to be open and curious. So, Mama, let's explore how AI can become your secret career growth tool, not another thing to do on your to do list. Hey Mama, welcome to Career Growth for Working Moms. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fit or burning out trying to do it all, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, a career coach and fellow working mom. Here, you'll get simple career strategies and strength-based leadership tips to help you grow with clarity and confidence. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time and let's do this. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have Marnie Wills with me today. Marnie is an international athlete, multi-passionate entrepreneur, and an AI trainer who helps non-techie professionals and leaders simplify their lives with practical AI systems. As the founder of Sporty Minis and a former fitness business owner, she knows firsthand what it's like to juggle business, sport, and family life. But here's the twist. Marnie used to avoid anything techie. That is, until one small experiment with AI completely changed everything. Within months, she went from outsourcing everything to confidently using AI to scale her business, reclaim her evenings, and eventually even exit a company she'd been running for years. Now, Marnie helps women, entrepreneurs, and working moms use AI as a second brain, a tool to reduce the mental load, quiet the overwhelm, and create more space for the things that truly matter. Marnie, welcome to the show. I'm so excited for today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. And that intro was crazy. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that your story is really relatable to a lot of people, like not being techie and avoiding technology, but now you teach others how to use it. So what first of all is that moment that changed everything for you?
So the moment was with an AI tool called Jasper AI. And it was when I had outsourced copywriting. I was trying to franchise one of my businesses, and I found a local copywriting lady, and she was so lovely. But we couldn't get the messaging right, and it came down to the fact that I didn't even know who I really wanted to work with and sell my franchises to.
Mhm.
And then when I couldn't afford her services anymore, I just happened to be, I don't know, scowling, or maybe even I got targeted by an ad, right? This was start of 2022. So it was before ChatGPT. And yeah, I got hit with Jasper and I fell in love with Jasper. It's a copywriting tool. I loved how it asked me questions. I love how smart it made me sound. And I just started to, I think, use um, generative AI, which is what it's known as, and we know as ChatGPT or Gemini. I just started to use generative AI, especially when ChatGPT came out, just very curiously, like how can this help me? I don't know what I want. I mean, everybody talks about, and still to this day talks about prompts, and you need to get your prompts right, and you need to have, you know what?
Right.
I don't have any of that. I just talk to this AI technology like it's my next door neighbor or like it's my best friend. Like I'm literally like super curious. I'm like, this is a task I have to do, or can you think about helping me with some meals tonight? Or gosh, my 8-year-old has got a temper today. Like, how do I work that out? Like I don't know why. My brain loves it. I feel super human. I feel really supported in life and business. And yeah, thank you to this technological transformation. I feel like a completely different woman.
I love that. Well, okay, so some moms feel like learning AI is seems so overwhelming to them. And it's just like another thing that they have to learn and they don't want to make the space for that. So, how do you make it simple and accessible for these busy moms?
I make it fun, like super fun. So Oh, where do I start? My daughter, we're in the UK, and my oldest 8-year-old, loves a show called Gladiators, and she wanted to be a gladiator. So we just jumped on ChatGPT and was like, we want to create I think we said we want to create a gladiator persona, ask us questions about what she likes, and we'll come up with a new character. And the ChatGPT asked my daughter some questions, and we came up with this character called Wave, and then we wrote a song, and then we just asked my favorite AI tool to do search on is Perplexity AI. So we just went to Perplexity and said, oh, how do we make a song from this? And then literally, I mean, so many of the tools are free to start with anyway, right? And then we just went on and we made a song. We made a website together. She had a Google slide that she had to do on Aztecs. And then I just said, oh, should we make a website from that? She's like, yeah. So then we go into gamma.app and we put in her Google Slides, and all of a sudden it makes a website. Like all of these amazing, it's fun to learn. I think just the ability to know that there's tools out there on what they can do without being overwhelmed to say you need to learn it, because I don't actually think you need to learn AI. I think you just need to use AI, kind of like our mobile, right? Like you didn't need to learn your mobile. You just needed to start using your iPhone or your Android. Like, when we moved, I'm probably showing my age here, but when I moved from my BlackBerry,
I had one too.
I know. I thought I was the coolest. And I remember this time, actually, I thought I was at uni and I'm on my BlackBerry, and my granddad at the time was sitting there on his new iPad and his new iPhone. And I just was like, honestly, I was like, oh my gosh, like you're wasting so much time. I'm like, I've got my keypad. I'm like all over this. But the reality was, I was a slow adopter because I didn't want to think that I needed to learn, the Apple or I need to learn that technology, but it wasn't techie. It's just a new operating system. It's just what we do. We operate with a smartphone now, just like before internet, we operated with the yellow pages or the white pages, depending on where you are in the world. And then we had the internet, and then now we have smartphones, and that's our operating system. It's changed the way we communicate, we make decisions, the way we research things and find information. But like generative AI tools, or AI, is that what you want to call it, ChatGPT, it's the same thing. It's just changing the way we operate. It's having the smartest thing in your pocket that you can talk to, you can ask questions to, you can brainstorm with, you can create whatever you like with. And I think the more you're just aware and you know that, and you just go, oh, instead of going to Google, you go, oh, I might just go to ChatGPT today, or I might just go to Perplexity today instead, right? And just starting to learn little ways that you can use it. Hopefully shouldn't be overwhelming. It should hopefully be fun. I mean, it's so much, you can have so much fun with it. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah, I've actually done it for leaving for trips. Like, what time do I need to avoid this city's traffic? And I was shocked, and we followed it, and I didn't get it. We didn't get in traffic. My husband looked at me. He was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "ChatGPT."
Love it.
So, like, I knew exactly when we had to leave. So it was pretty funny. And that goes to where you've mentioned, or we were talking in the bio about this being a second brain. And it actually can be a huge benefit to these moms who are juggling just like work and home and everything else in between, as it can help them in many different ways, right?
Yeah. So let's take ChatGPT as an example. The models are so smart that they remember. Their memory is so good. So there's two levels to the way you can use ChatGPT from this perspective. I'll give the basic one first. First, it remembers. So if you have a chat going on with ChatGPT and it's about your children, and maybe there's some medical conditions, or maybe there's some fussy eating or some allergies, or or maybe it's just like massive overwhelm with the number of school emails you've got to deal with, right? Or whatever's coming up. Like ChatGPT can connect to those emails. You could just go in and search and say, I want the last 5 emails from the school, and is there any action points I need to take? And then I want you to send me a reminder every Monday, with the schedule coming up for this week. Like simple things like that, it remembers. Or it knows the food that your children like, so you could then just take a picture of your fridge and say, like, what's in your fridge, and go, okay, I got 30 minutes, what can I make? And because it remembers what your children like, what they don't like, all of those things, it'll be able to whiz something up, rather than just going to a complete blank ChatGPT who doesn't know anything about you. It's going to give you really generic stuff. So we
Right.
are at the point now where ChatGPT has a really good memory and you can ask it to remember things as well. But then the next level for when people are ready, and it is really not difficult to do and it is free as well, is there's something called projects. It's on your left hand side of your screen on your phone or your laptop. And in projects, it's just that next level, it's that next customization level. So you've got your general chat with ChatGPT, and this is in all models, by the way. My go-to is Claude, and Claude has something called projects. Perplexity, which I mentioned before, have spaces. And if you're a Gemini, if you're a Google user, Geminis and Gems. So, they've all got them, but it's the next level because in projects, you're creating your own AI assistant for a particular role. So first of all, you give it a knowledge base. So you give it a second brain. It's got its smart generative AI knowledge anyway, and then you give it an extra brain. And if it was about some medical issues with your children, you could upload all that information. Everything could go up in there. And then the custom instructions is, you're my expert, uh, advisor that helps me make sure that I'm giving the right nutrients to my children and help, that's just one example. But another way, a way that I do it, it's a bit geeky, it's a bit business related, but I'm going to share. It is, I'm a solopreneur for one of my businesses, and then I'm a small business for my franchise business, and I don't have the luxury of having a board of directors, but I need the accountability just as much as anybody else. So I set up a board of directors in an AI assistant. I've given it a knowledge base. I've given it all about my business, even me, my psychographics, my disc profile, all my dreams, my vision board goes in there.
I
But then
love
I also
that.
put information about the business people that I mentor that I love. So I love Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO. I love Mel Robbins. I love Oprah, and there's a few other key people I've got in there, and I've got information about their businesses, their business success, the business advice they give, and their disc profiles as well. And then every quarter I check in with my board of directors, this is the goals that we set, this is where I came up with. And I don't know, like that's just a way to customize and have a second brain there for you to help you along your journey.
And it probably takes off some of that mental load that you have to
Oh,
carry
massive.
as well. Like I just, as you were as you were speaking, I'm going, wow, that would just make life a little bit easier, especially like for these busy moms. Like what you're saying is you talk to it like you're sitting there next to your friend, and then it remembers everything, and then they can then apply that, and it takes off the stress and mental load that we're carrying because we're trying to do it all and be super moms. And it's very helpful, you know.
100%. And the other tool that I use, and you can use this on many of the meetings you go to, right? So we're in a Zoom room right now. We could take the meeting notes and you can put it into ChatGPT. If you do record any of your meetings, I highly recommend you either set up a kind of like a Zapier automation, or you copy and paste and you upload it into your meeting notes, so it becomes kind of like your executive assistant. I use a tool called Otter AI to do that. But the reason I do that is it again comes down to the mental load. I have lots of meetings a day, and and how do I remember all that? And I'm scribbling, taking notes, and then someone might say something that I didn't pick up. Whereas I can go to Otter, and for example, I've got a younger intern working with me at the moment, and I have to set her weekly kind of things that she's working on. And for the life of me, it's been on my to-do list for 3 days, right? So I had the meeting with her
Right.
on Monday. It's now Thursday. Like I'm like, oh gosh, I've got to get that out. And I like couldn't for the life of me read my writing. I was like, and what's happened between Monday and today is just insane. I just jump onto Otter and I was like, right, it was week 3 meeting with Cora. Find my meeting and let me know what the action points were her and what my action points was. Found it, copy and paste, sent it to her. Like I like just
Yeah.
that alone now allows me not to have to try and remember those things, and
Right.
I don't want it to dumb down our intelligence, because I honestly believe that artificial intelligence can amplify us. But at the same time, like we are human, and I don't know about you, but if I've got less going on in my head, I can be more present with my children and my
Absolutely.
friends, you know?
Yes. Absolutely. Are you one that believes that AI will start replacing jobs? I'm just curious because as we talking to working moms, like, do they have the possibility of that? I mean, you can go into certain restaurants now and they have you order, but like the real working moms that are in corporate and all of that. How do you see that going?
Yeah, so I do think, like any tech revolution we've had, jobs will be lost, and normally it was kind of the manufacturing jobs or the kind of initial kind of I don't know, jobs that didn't involve a computer initially were the jobs that kind of got taken. But I think we do need to be careful. I think white collar jobs are definitely yeah, they're definitely under threat. However, in the near future, in the next 2 to 5 years, I think those that use AI are going to replace you if you don't use AI in your job. That's the first thing. I also think actually we can put a spin on this and say that maybe your job will be taken by an AI, but your job description will change. And maybe because we're able to be amplified as humans, we can do things like really opportunistic things, things that
Right.
we weren't able to do before because we didn't have that capacity as one human. Whereas now we're a human using a
Right.
generative AI to help us. So I kind of feel like I like to spin that as like real opportunities. And then what if we could move to a 3-day work week, like Bill Gates had mentioned a few months ago? He thinks we
Right.
could move to a 3-day work week. And then, great, 3 days we're doing a job, we're getting paid the same, we're making the same impact. And in those other times, we're having more leisure time or making more impact in our community. Like, what if we
Right.
could be open and curious to that possibility?
Absolutely. I love it. And because I honestly feel like that's a great point, but there's nothing that can replace actual human to human connection. That connection,
Correct.
I don't feel like any AI can do that. It can kind of probably learn your voice and speak it for certain things, but there's like nothing that can replace what we're having right now, a conversation in this
100%.
depth. So that
Yeah.
connection, but I
And a
love
little,
that point. Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and a really good stat, I think, for us mums as well, is there's a stat around Gen Alpha, who are the children born, well, the generation born between 2010 and 2013. They're entering the workforce if they haven't gone into higher education very soon. And if they go into higher education, they're coming in within the next, 2 to 5 years. 64% of their jobs do not currently exist. So there's a massive shift in the types of jobs that will be around, but we've seen that shift before. It was the same shift when we first had the internet. So the internet had come out, and that same generation, 64% of their jobs didn't exist, and that
Wow.
was the Gen Zs. So the Gen Zs who are now in education, back when the internet came out, 64% of their jobs hadn't existed yet. I mean, there was no such thing as social media marketing, as an example. There was no
Right.
such
That's
thing as an automation specialist or you know, um, again, I'm not techie, but you know what I mean. But like,
no, I love it.
you
But
know,
you're right. Like I've never thought of it that way. But yeah, that does make
mm,
so much sense. So yeah, that makes sense. That's 64%. But that's a big number. Like that's a
yeah.
really
But
big number.
when we had the internet revolution, for every job lost, there was 2.4 created. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're just in for a massive transformation, and there are pros and cons to every transformation. And I just think as busy mums and leaders, either within our communities, for our families, within business, we're at a great time to adopt early and have some fun with it, and just have that curious and abundant mindset of what generative AI can do for you.
Yes, I love it. Well, as we wrap up today, where can our listeners connect with you?
I love LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Marnie Wills. Otherwise, I am over on all the socials at Business with AI Strategist.
Awesome. Okay. And as we wrap up today, this has been such an amazing conversation. I love leaving my listeners with a powerful action step that they can take today or this week. What is something that bold step that you would advise them to do, especially using AI?
Okay. So I would say pick your AI model of choice. If you're already using ChatGPT, start using Perplexity. If you haven't used any yet, start on ChatGPT. So they're my two options there. And then just press the voice mode and have a little brain dump and start creating a curious conversation with your AI.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, Shannon.
Hey, Working Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with a friend who's stuck in her career but doesn't want to sacrifice her family to grow? Also, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It seriously lights me up to know this show is helping you navigate burnout, find clarity, and lead with confidence. All right, time to shut down my laptop and pretend I'm not hiding from folding that laundry. I'll meet you back here soon for another episode of Career Growth for Working Moms. You've got this.